What's up, guys? W321 here, welcoming you to SpongeBob SquarePants, up for Bikini Bottom. I'm covering the Game Boy Advance edition because I didn't even know that this game had a Game Boy edition to it. But don't worry, we're not going to do like a full gameplay of this normally, because I'm just going to do like a little short review of the game, and then next episode for SpongeBob SquarePants we'll be finishing off the GameCube edition of the game, and then I have a new game that I want to show you guys. The game starts off one day when Plato decides to make robots, and as in the GameCube version of the game, the robots have gone amok because Do Not Obey was flipped on. SpongeBob woke up one day and he saw robots all over the place, and he's like, I need to go to Krusty Krab. Mr. Krabs was the only one who figured out it was Plankton, and then they begin their day. Our characters here are SpongeBob, and that's pretty much it. We see all the other characters that were from the other game introduced into it, but they're only here to give you hint and tutorial based stuff. We actually do have an additional character named Misery. Misery is a well-known character from the SpongeBob TV show, which was SpongeBob's pet seahorse. Misery is now basically our Yoshi for this game, but that's pretty much it. The cutscenes for this game are not well, because since it's like the early Game Boy stuff, and I guess not much can be held into the software to it, they had like the regular like GIF of the characters looking up at robots, standing there around, talking to each other, and you have the text you have to read out loud to yourself. Which I guess is kind of better, since you can just imagine Mr. Krabs in his real voice than just hearing a fake crab. And Memory Man, gameplay wise, this game kind of controls stiff. You have a really weird jump, and your controls are just stiff as ever. As soon as you jump into the air, you have to wait for like a second until SpongeBob actually jumps. You can hold down the jump button to jump higher. SpongeBob has certain attacks where he can use his bubble wand. He can blow bubbles to stun enemies, reactivate enemies. SpongeBob can point his bubble wand up. SpongeBob also has a hover ability if you hold the A button, when you hold the jump button when you're in the air. And he can look up, crouch, and crawl. Misery can eat enemies, hold them in their mouths, spit them out, hover in the air, and he can jump higher than SpongeBob. Misery is used a lot in this game. And the music, it's not as great as the GameCube edition, but it's still something. There is one track I do like. But that's kind of it. The stages have golden spatulas where you need to collect in order to finish the stage. There's also Krabby Patties you need to collect in the stages to unlock bonus stages. And those bonus stages unlock photos that you can view later on once you finish the game, or once you're at the stage select. The stages aren't made well. In the first world, they kind of spoil you with the stages, because usually you can get like one golden spatula for every screen. And those screens are basically your checkpoints. Every time you pass through a screen, that's a checkpoint. But the problem is, that checkpoint is not enough. They need checkpoints in the middle of the screen sections, not when you're traveling in between different screens. Because there's stages like the last stage for the Chum Bucket, where you need where you go through literally 7 screens in order to reach the final boss. And that's not fun, because not only do you have to go through lots of screens, but those screens also require you to backtrack through them. You have to find keys to unlock a certain section, to unlock the ability to go to another part of the stage, in order for you to find another key to go back to the section, collect the golden spatula, come back, get 3 golden spatulas, find the portal that's either at the beginning or at the far left or far right screen of the game, and it's just tedious. It's annoying. There's literally been parts where I soft lock myself trying to get up to a section, and I lose Misery every once in a while. It's just that. The bonus stages are not even designed as well either. The bonus stages, once you collect 20 Krabby Patties, either Mr. Krabs or Memory Man give you the ability to ride through town and collect 20 Krabby Patties. Basically, the 20 Krabby Patties you worked so hard to collect in the stages, you have to collect them in bonus stages. That's how you get those photos. I don't like it. It's not fun. Once you get hit, you get stunned, and you can't collect the Krabby Patties when you're stunned. There's bottomless pits everywhere. You have to hover in some places. And the enemies, any enemy in this game is not lethal except for the ones that instant kill you, the bosses, and sometimes the little cannon guys that shoot little explosives at you. In the other game, at least the enemies try to attack you. they would just move from side to side, and it's just, what? The lethal thing in this game is just like the GameCube edition, which is just platforming. If you miss a platform, you can fall into a hazard or fall into a bottomless pit, which is littered everywhere in stages. Literally, once you pass the first world, no, once you pass the second stage, you go to Goo Lagoon, you get infested by bottomless pits, and the controls are not that good, so you have to literally time your jumps to be pixel perfect, or you will miss the platform. Most of the enemies you use in this game, literally all the enemies you use in the game actually, are used for platforming as well. So sometimes you have to use misery to eat down a wall of flowers to find an enemy, to come back and place an enemy in a section on the other side of the screen in order to progress, and that's just annoying. Nobody likes that. But there is one thing I do enjoy about the game, which is the boss fights, because the boss fights are fair. The boss fights are better than the actual stages. They're not good, but they're at least better. You have your casual few bosses. For Robot Sandy, you jump over to either side of the platform, wait until she goes to the middle platform, the middle lower platform, and then jump on her head, and then immediately dodge. After you get rid of 3 of her health, she will start predicting where you go and shoot her arm at you and never leave that middle platform. So you just wait until she shoots that arm, the static gets away from her dome, and you just bop her in the head a couple more times, and then Robot Sandy is done. We have Robot Patrick, which is basically just a chase section where you have to go through the stage, collect bombs, and shoot him back at the Robot Patrick. If Robot Patrick catches to you, he will instant kill you. He will kill you and Misery. We have a robot that we've never found out before, which is Robot Squidward. When I first saw Robot Squidward, I was searching up the names of the characters, of the robots beforehand, so I can write them down in my book. And then I saw like description for a Robot Squidward. I'm like, I've never seen Robot Squidward in this game, which is sad because I would have liked the Robot Squidward. I would have liked an extra boss fight in the game. Who knew? Like, I could have fought a Robot Mr. Krabs. That would have been nice, too. But Robot Squidward, he shoots lots of clarinet notes at ya. And you're supposed to dodge the notes, wait until one of his little tentacle platforms comes down, hits the ground, and once they flip over, you can jump on top of them and shoot a bomb with Misery onto Squidward's head. Once you go to like the halfway phase of the boss fight, Squidward's head will get off his body, his stationary body, and move from side to side along the screen. As long as you catch him with the opportunity, once the bombs spawn in, you can just shoot him in the air, and you're just done with the boss fight. And then you reach the Duplicatron 5000, I think what they call it. The little machines that generate robots in Battle for Bikini Bottom GameCube is a boss fight in the actual game. The Duplicatron creates 2 enemies, one that you can jump on top of, and a bomb. You collect the bomb, you throw it on the you throw it on the top of the Duplicatron, the little golden part, the funnel, I believe it's called, and it damages the robot. There's a conveyor belt that switches direction, and that's pretty much the boss fight. Once you defeat that boss, you get to the real final boss. The boss we haven't seen yet in the actual game, Robot SpongeBob. Robot SpongeBob is pretty simple as well. Robot SpongeBob drops lots of explodable Krabby Patty robots where you can just pick them up with Misery and just shoot them back at Robot SpongeBob. You have to watch out where the conveyor belts go because the conveyor belt can lead the bomb right into you. Sometimes if you jump up trying to hit SpongeBob, he will spawn a bomb on top of you. I think the best strategy for this boss fight is to pick up a bomb and then just wait for a while until SpongeBob stops at the end of each conveyor belt, and then just shoot the bomb back at him. That's like the best strategy for him, unless you want to do something risky like shoot him in the air. And I think once you reach like a certain amount of health, the game gives you some underwear so you can be nice. But I don't believe the boss gets much harder. I literally forgot because I just beat the boss fight. I was just done with it. And once you do that, that's the end of the game. But overall, cutscenes, not that well. The story is weak. It's just a weak story. The stage design is terrible. The gameplay is terrible. It's not even a good game. Would I recommend this to anybody? Absolutely not. I would not recommend this game to anybody unless I hate them as a person. It's just weak. It's a weak game. Once you can access the photos from the menu screen, and one thing I actually did forget to mention is that you can actually the way the game saves is that those little code things, you have to enter a code in order to relaunch from your save point, and I am so glad I recorded me getting those out. I'm so glad I recorded that last section because this took me 2 days to do. The game is literally just about like 3 hours if you just sit through it. 4 or 5 hours if you play just like me, all blind and not knowing what to do. And yeah, overall, the game, my rating gives the game like a 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10, because it was just not enjoyable. I'm just done with this game. I'm literally actually going to be done with this game because next time on SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom, the good version, we'll be finishing off the game. We'll be going to that little theater to check out if there's any more socks there, and then we'll be finishing the game. I don't care if it takes 30 minutes, I don't care if it takes an hour, I'm finishing that game because I want to move on to something else. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. This is actually something different. This was actually a little bit different because this was way different from all my other voiceovers I did because this actually was scripted. So I'm recording this not with the video right in front of me so I can get reminded on here. This was all from memory. This was all from brain juice. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching this. If you guys have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, make sure to hit the notification bell, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, my gamers!